Live, huh? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
great. We are live. We are discussing the ODI series coming up and the T20 series that happened recently. We have a good friend Miraj with us. Hi Miraj, how are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thanks, Alish. Thanks,
Great.
Shivam. How are you guys?
Good, good.
Doing good,
Great to
man.
have you
Yeah,
on
so
the
let's start off with the T20 series. I think, to be really frank, out of all the three formats to watch these days, I love watching the T20 team. I mean, this is what how T20 should be played in modern day cricket. I think the way our T20 team is playing right now is the best way to play it. So I'm very happy to watch the team, and I'm happy seeing the results also. I mean, beating this good England team 4-1, I think was a good performance overall. And even Sky seemed to be taking up captaincy very well. So a lot of points to discuss, but I think it's very exciting brand of cricket we play, and that's one format I feel like watching a lot these days. What about you? What about you, Miraj?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is how it should have been played many years ago. Uh, the issue was that we had Virat who believed that the best way to move forward was to have an accumulator, and consolidation was what he was going after. So I guess now that he's no longer in the team and Sky is at the helm and Gambhir, they feel they should go for 250 every game, and it comes off, it doesn't come off, it shouldn't matter. And I think that's the right way. I mean, West Indies had showed it in 2016 itself.
Hmm.
In that famous semi-final, and I keep telling this to anyone who wants to listen to me, is that Kohli scored that 89 of 48, and Dhoni also, they ran twos and threes and God knows what all, but West Indies just hit sixes and won with 4 balls to spare.
Yeah.
So I think now to see this happening nearly a decade from that 2016 final with Abhishek hitting 13 sixes. I mean, let alone 13 sixes hit by the team. He's hitting alone 13 sixes, which is crazy. Yeah.
It's refreshing. What about you, Sean? Do you think that this brand of cricket is what India should have played long back?
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, like Miraj mentioned, the 2016 is like a thorn in the flesh. I think not so happy memories where those no balls also sort of played their part. But yeah, talking about this new approach, I think one thing which probably Gautam Gambhir is doing right is, and maybe we should definitely give him some credit since we have been really vocal about the way he has been handling things in the other setups like ODIs and test
Yeah.
matches. Uh, and the opening combination with Abhishek and Samson, and then the middle order, the Tilak, Sky. Although Sky seemed to be taking the captaincy thing too seriously, I think he's lost his form. But again, I think at an overall level, Indian T20 team is really looking top notch, and I think between number one and number two right now, India is far ahead than anyone else playing T20 cricket, without a doubt.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, so my only point here is that I think the one match we lost also that sort of came up, and the first match also, that if we start playing this aggressive form of cricket, and I know we go back to that whole anchor role, and that's sort of stuck in our mind, right? Like, if these wickets fall in a tumble, then who's there? You know, does Hardik play that role? I think Tilak played that role very well in the first few matches. Do we need that player, or is it like, okay, whoever can spend 15, 20 balls, get whatever runs you can, go, and the next guy comes in? Or do we even look at an anchor? Is that even something which should be considered, or somebody should even look at that role? What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think anchor is going to be important for this Indian team. I think it's a split role. Somebody who will have to play the anchor role, let's say when the wickets fall like Tilak did, purely
Hmm.
because the 8, 9, 10, 11 is still a very feeble batting lineup. I mean, India don't have the luxury of an Adil Rashid at number 11, or let's say the West Indies teams where Jason Holder could bat at number 10.
Yeah.
So from that lens, I think that that, that balance will continue for a bit. Nothing to be disheartened if that wins you games. The
Hmm.
whole idea is that you want to win multiple types of games, batting first, batting second, losing wickets, let's say in the first innings or in the second innings, and if say Tilak is that guy, because he's been doing that for Mumbai for a while. Like, Tilak is not the fastest off the blocks. It helps that he comes in at number 3 now. So I think, yeah, there is still room only in this side
Huh.
for an anchor. Yes.
Yeah, I think that's nicely put up by Miraj. Since we have, like, other than Tilak, probably everyone can come in and just go bonkers from the ball one. Even
Hmm.
Tilak can do that if required. So there would be like one once in a 10
Uh,
blue moon sort of situation where you would be needing an anchor, to be honest, right? Where the wicket normally you'll see in this kind of approach, most of the time it will come off for India, irrespective of the situation. There would be times when if you lose a couple of early wickets and then the pressure comes on the middle order, that's where someone like a Tilak can come in really handy. But I don't think in this modern era we need a anchor as such. Like,
mm,
you don't need a player like, say, someone like a Shreyas Iyer in the middle order, uh, who initially sort of tend to take some time, because the way the things are progressing in the T20 cricket, I think it's going to be the norm. And I am pretty sure that teams like South Africa, England, Australia, they're going to follow the same approach pretty soon if they are not already doing it. You see the likes of Fraser McGurk and Harry Brooks, like Livingston. I know things did not work out well for the English side, but they have got the firepower to do the same, as well from their end. So I think this approach is gonna be taken by most of the teams, and it's gonna be really competitive. So I really like the approach, and I don't think that you need a specific anchor as such. But I think India is blessed to have someone like a Tilak Verma who can play the dual role.
yeah. And like you guys said, right, along with Tilak, even Hardik's also there. Hardik always feels that he should have that extra responsibility. So I'm guessing he'll also decide that, okay, if he wants to play that role, he'll probably play it as per the situation demands. So I mean, yeah, we have those players, but if and when the situation comes up, I guess. Yeah, and another thing which came up for me in this tournament is the Sanju Samson conundrum, right? I mean, 5 matches again, 5 failures. So do we stick with this guy? This guy is an enigma. I mean, when he plays, there's nobody like him, but that doesn't come often. And unfortunate because we have really good players in the backup as well, right? I mean, we have Jaiswal sitting in the line, so maybe it's time for the management to think of a Jaiswal also. But I don't know. I think this management seems to be, at least Sky seems to be really happy backing Sanju. What do you guys think? I mean, having that Jaiswal factor at the back of your mind, is that a good thing for Sanju, or you should be given more time to play the way he plays?
No, no, give him as much time as possible because see, I think if you start playing Yashasvi 3 formats, then that also might come back and bite you at some point in time because the workload might just be too much for probably India's best batter today, right?
Hmm.
That is one. The second thing is you don't want two lefties to open also, and have, let's say, oh no, so then you'll have essentially have four lefties in the top five. Tilak Verma, Yashasvi,
Hmm.
Abhishek Sharma, and Shivam Dubey. So that also is not a great thing from a matchup perspective. One thing I wanted to add on that anchor bit was that uh, I think this team also, while Gambhir keeps saying that he doesn't believe in data and all of that, it's funny because the world's best analyst, Nathan Lehman, used to work at KKR with him through the last season. And Hardik, for what it's worth, in that fourth game where the wickets had fallen in a heap to Overton in the second over, 3 wickets had fallen. I think in that game he was about 20 of 20 or something like that, and it was that anchor innings. But I think from a perspective, he has so much confidence in himself that he's a six hitter. That 20 of 20 I think ended up being 53 of 30, which is faster than the Shivam Dubey.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I
So
think
I
I think
think people
Sanju is
are
a very
also ready to back themselves
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
I think Sanju is a very interesting case, Suresh and Viraj. Uh, like you mentioned, when he's on song, there's nothing stopping him. He's probably the best player on the planet.
Hmm.
But again, I think it sort of shows me the shades of Rohit Sharma of 2012, 2013. When everybody knew that this guy's got the talent, but somehow, somewhere, he's got that blockage in his head and he was not able to perform. And maybe this opening slot and this extended run might help him. And I completely agree with Miraj that uh, getting Yashasvi play all the three formats, especially in this the way the calendar is completely packed, and Yashasvi is super critical for the test format. I think uh, you cannot compromise on that, and you want him to stay fit. And for all these bilaterals and all, probably stick with at least for the T20 format, and probably stick with Sanju along with Abhishek at the moment. Like you mentioned, there are a lot of left-hander. There's also Rinku Singh is also there, so another left-hander in the middle order. Too many left-handers. So that variety has, sort of has to be there, right? I think a couple of things which I wanted to discuss, sort of controversies. I think it started with the first game where England batters complained about that high AQI in Kolkata.
Hmm.
And then the entire Shivam Dube fiasco which happened in the fourth T20. How do you guys see that? Let's start with that AQI thing.
Yeah, I mean, Miraj can probably add more. He's from Kolkata, but I don't know. I mean, see, it doesn't look good, right? But what to do? I mean, the match was planned in Kolkata. I'm not aware if BCCI kept a track of AQI. I'm pretty sure they didn't. I don't think that's on their radar or what's the AQI and all. But I mean, I don't think that can be used as an excuse. I mean, both teams played there, so but it's difficult. It's difficult for foreigners to come and start performing the same way how Indians do in these conditions, and it's the winter season as well, right? So I can understand, but I don't know if that can be given an excuse for the performance. Regarding the Shivam Dubey one, that's just, I mean, that's just unfair. I don't think we should have done that. It's not a like for like replacement, and I don't know how the match referee agreed to it. I'm not much aware of that what happened during the fiasco, but definitely not a like for like replacement. And I'm surprised that was allowed also. So it's not fair. Yeah. What
What's
do
your
what do you
thought?
think?
Yeah, I
Is
think
it Kolkata? Is it that bad?
it is really bad. Like,
Okay.
see the thing is, like, when those so Indians, I think, when we go to South Africa or to Australia or something, and let's say hit a big innings, Cricinfo has this thing, right? Like, his last 50 was here, and now is his current 50, and they'll put pictures of both the innings,
Hmm.
up and down, so you can see the difference in the AQI, and that is disheartening at the get go itself. The other thing is, I mean, BCCI, I don't think they look at AQI. I mean, this is the organization that set up a test in end of November in Delhi versus Sri Lanka. Sri Lankan players came with the masks and everything because it was really that bad. So I don't think they look at AQI or anything for that matter. I think it's a lottery where the games are divided between the associations. So I mean, Calcutta got one, and they had to play. However, it's not an invalid, let's say, objection from England, but it doesn't discount the fact that it's still funny. so, so it will always remain funny that the guy who can't pick the finger of Varun Chakravarthy complained about the AQI, and then Varun Chakravarthy kept getting him out again and again and again and again. So yeah, that definitely. I mean, both are mutually exclusive. It's still funny, and it's still disheartening that our AQI is such that it just defeats a lot of purpose through the game. Yeah.
What about the Dubai
About
thing?
the Shivam Dube, see, the thing is that this is when you want the match referee to stand up and take the call. Now, if the adjudicator in this case, Javagal Srinath, did not make that call, then that's how it has panned out. I mean, there is no way that Shivam Dube and Harshit Rana have the same pace. I think Shivam Dube has bowled 18 or 24 balls in the last four IPLs, I think,
Okay.
put together. Shiva, Harshit Rana bowled 4 overs that day, and let alone, and Shivam Dube was never going to bowl the 19th over of the game. So from that lens, it just felt like a very, very good game was unnecessarily taken over by this type of controversy. I do want to share, because this is a public platform, the shithousery from Joss Butler the very next game. At the toss, he was asked, "What is your team?" So he said, No changes. I think one change, Mark Wood comes in, some guy goes out, and then we have four impact subs, and then he named four guys. So I think that is superb.
That's apt. Yeah.
I think this impacts something. No, I remember one incident from that 2021-22 series, India's tour of Australia, where Jadeja he pulled a hamstring or something, and then he got hit on his head, and then he was impacted up by Yuzi Chahal, who again turned the game on his with his bowling, and India won the game. And still remember the visual where David Boone, I think he was the match referee, and Justin Langer was having a very animated chat with him during the
Yeah.
mid innings. He was informed that okay, Yuzi Chahal will be the back sub, and ultimately he played his part. So and that one was still debatable that Jadeja was supposed to ball
Yeah.
his four. The only point over there was everybody knew that he got injured just before he got hit on his head. So That angle was there, and now this was like, "ठीक है यार, it's my ground and I'll do whatever it takes to win the game." That kind of thing. So
See, the
definitely
other,
not.
yeah, yeah, the other thing is that the context of putting Harshit Rana in is also very important. Here is Gambhir coming back after losing a series versus drawing a series versus no, they lost the series versus Sri Lanka. Then they
Yeah,
lost at home to
New Zealand.
New Zealand. Then it would have been 4-1 in Australia, but it was 3-1. So at many levels, I think this is also a man who's desperate that this
mm,
just needs to be ticked off. So from that lens, he did whatever he needed to do as well. Uh, I still think the fifth T20I would have essentially been India's only, but I think the series had a fair chance of going 2-2 into the fifth T20I.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
fair point on Gambhir actually, but I think it was match referee who was supposed to take the
yeah,
stand, like you mentioned earlier. Uh,
yeah,
which was really disheartening to see.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
yeah,
No, I mean,
I get the
so I mean,
reaction.
I think the whole 4-1, yeah, it could have gone the other way. I think one important factor here was the performance of Varun Chakravarthy, right? I mean, they just couldn't read him. I mean, England just couldn't read him. And see, I've always had this fascination with this mystery spin, right? I mean, like to me, I don't know. I don't understand what's the mystery about. I've never faced a mystery spinner, so I don't know. I always struggled what's the mystery here. And this was one guy who I remember before the 2021 World Cup was so hyped, and we took him to the World Cup as well. And then Rizwan and Babar took him off. And then I think somebody put up a tweet also. Rizwan and Babar took 3 years off Varun Chakravarthi's career. And that is so controversial also, right? I mean, obviously it's not just one match. But what is unique and what changes for a mystery spin? I don't understand. Suddenly he's come back so well. He had a superb IPL as well. One of the main reasons why KKR won the trophy also. Uh, it- like how difficult is it to read a mystery spinner, or what's the big mystery in this in Varun Chakravarthy? What do you guys think?
multiple things like the release of the leg spinner and the googly is very
Mm,
very similar. It's the flick of the thumb at the bottom that changes a lot of things for him. Apart from that, I think his arm speed is
ah,
also pretty high than, let's say, a Narayan, who is now being read much more than, let's say, a Varun Chakravarti is as well. Uh, and and then the other thing that I think happens a lot is that a lot of people play him as an off spinner, but he's net a leg spinner. So who's bowling a lot of googlies. So he's like a Bishnoi, but it's just terrible if you can't read him off the hand. And then the things that happen off the pitch are also extremely difficult to play out, because I think once the ball pitches, then it skids faster because this is a T20. He's in at the sixth over, seventh over.
yeah.
Ball is fairly new with some shine, so it zips faster, I think, off the surface also for him.
And sufficiently tall as well. I think he's pretty tall.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, high arm action,
Mm,
yeah,
so very close balls closer to the wickets as well. And very interesting
yeah,
point about, Harsha Bhogle also mentioned the same thing during one of the matches, I think during the fifth T20s only, that you should play him as a leg spinner who occasionally ball that googly, will come
mm,
back into the right hander. But again, I think definitely, I mean, he's at the peak of his form, no doubt about that. But again, the English batters, I think they are pretty clueless, as the case has always been with them when it comes to quality spin bowling. So
mm.
that also, I mean, you see a Harry Brook coming and just started to sweep from the ball one. You know that he's not reading him at all. And like you mentioned, Miraj mentioned, it's really tough to, sort of adjust once someone like a Chakravarti, off the wicket. It's not that easy. And
yeah,
as a result, you see him in the ODI squad as well, which is a good thing,
Mm.
because going into the Champions Trophy, I still feel that he might be included basis his performance. I think he'll be doing well in the next three games. So I see a case where he might be included in the Champions Trophy squad as well. Uh, so I think let's talk about the ODIs. ODIs now, since we have uh, game tomorrow lined up at Nagpur. How do you guys see the overall squad, and what do you think India's combination will be? And I see these three games as the obviously the practice or the context setting of the Champions Trophy, which is going to happen in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. No, I mean, see, I like the ODI squad, to be frank, and the fact that we reached the finals also pretty comprehensively. the last World Cup, and I actually think that we're one of the favorites for the Champions Trophy also. So, and the fact that Rohit Sharma is back in a format which he likes, and the format which he has actually played well the last few, at least last few the World Cup at least. So he has a lot to prove, right? I mean, there's one format which is really good at, and I think he'll come all guns blazing, and which will also have a positive effect on the team. So I really like this ODI squad. I think we'll see a good what do you call it, prelude to what performance can come from Champions Trophy. My biggest concerns are mostly what will be the middle order, right? Like Rishabh Pant or it will be KL Rahul keeping. I think that's where India will have some questions. And also the spin department. I am not really convinced about Washington Sundar coming in as a player. I mean, I think he's a good player in the test format, but I don't see him bowl more than 4 5 overs. In which case, then how many spinners do we take? So I think those are the questions India will have to answer. But otherwise, the top order, I'm pretty convinced that that's a really good top order, and we'll be putting up big scores in this tournament.
Yeah, I think I think it'll be the same lineup as the World Cup,
Hmm.
barring. Oh no, actually not the same lineup as the World Cup. There'll be no Sky. Uh, Plus, I don't think Jadeja plays. I think Aksar should get the nod over Jadeja here. However, it'd be interesting to see if they play Kuldeep or they play Varun Chakravarthy in these games. I think Kuldeep probably just because he's a left armer. And I think, what will be more interesting from India's point of view is the ability of Mohammad Shami to bowl 10 overs or not, especially considering Nagpur's heat, and he wasn't played in all the T20Is, or at least like multiple of them, anyways. But I think the top order remains the same. It'll be Gill and Rohit up top with Virat at three, Shreyas at four, KL at five, and then Hardik, and then uh, longish tail, I guess, with Sundar at seven. Sundar, I think Sundar, Aksar, and then the three uh, Sundar, Aksar, Kuldeep, and Arshdeep and Shami. I think this is a good time to have Arshdeep play multiple ODIs in a row, because I
Huh.
think that was one piece of the puzzle that was not there with this Indian team in the 2023 World Cup, even though they were as dominant as they were. But I think having a left armer is always useful.
Yep. I think that would be a good addition without a doubt. And we have always been really vocal about playing Arshdeep all three formats. Actually,
Hmm.
I really expect him to get into the white ball cricket. I mean red ball cricket as well pretty soon, maybe for the England tour. Uh, but yeah, I think Shami is gonna be the key because we're still not sure about how Bumrah is gonna line up for the Champions Trophy. Is he gonna be fit or not, or because Indian attack minus Bumrah is a different thing, right? So you need a fighting Shami if you want to do any impact with a new ball. Ishdeep will play his part for sure. Do you guys see the possibility of India playing both Chakravarti and Kuldeep? Because the Champions Trophy obviously is going to be in Dubai for India, so it's going to aid spinners. Uh, I mean, so it might be a good opportunity to have to sort of have a look on both of these guys rather than sort of benching one of these two.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure in the same match because otherwise then the batting gets shortened, right? Because then we
Yeah.
have Arshdeep, Shami, Chakravarti, and Kuldeep. Who four of them can't really bat much. So maybe not in the same match, but I'm hoping they all get chances, right? I'm hoping Kuldeep and Varun get chances, and probably you can decide who do you want to take in the 11, maybe in the Champions Trophy, but may not be in the same match just because of they don't bat. Yeah.
There might be a case of Chakravarti playing ahead of Kuldeep to start with, in my opinion, because of the form he's carrying from the T20 series.
Which will be, I mean, again, Kuldeep will be hard done
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
somebody performing, because I mean, if you think about it, 2024 was his net breakout year in Test cricket, and we didn't see him in Australia, nor did we see him, I think, in a couple of series before that because he was injured. So I think that injury management, net he's an incumbent, so he should walk back into the side, is what I mean to say.
One more thing which I really wanted to discuss, I think we briefly touched upon this in the last episode as well, but I would love to hear your views on this, Miraj. Uh, so we have got Shashi Jaiswal, who's clearly gonna be the backup opener because we'll open with Rohit and Gill. Now
Gil.
Gill has been named the vice captain. So I just wanted to talk about that. Naming someone who is not in good form, who's been struggling. Okay, he's done pretty well in the ODI cricket to be fair, but again, at an overall level, he has not been able to cement his place as of now, right? And you have made him the vice captain of the side. How do you see it? You know.
So first, I should make it clear that I have a very, very, very soft corner for Gill. Uh, been following him, I think, since that Poly Umriga trophy he won in 2015 or 16. So, so for me, I think Gill's best format was always going to be ODI. I mean,
Hmm.
net he averages 58, has a strike rate of 101, which is absolutely crazy. Uh, there's nothing to say that Yashasvi might just top that as well. But cricket again for me is three different sports. So as much as his form, let's say in tests is different, I think India didn't play enough ODIs last year for him to uh, be judged on anything except the World Cup that he had previously. And in that World Cup also he was hit by dengue and all of that, but still performed relatively well. So I guess from that lens, I think there is some sense, at least in my view, that India is going to go at three different captains for three different formats, and the dependency on each of these formats will reduce, uh, which is going to be further aided by the reduction of the number of ODIs that the teams will play, considering the other calendar. So net net, I think it could also be viewed as a candy to keep this guy who's a generational talent, so to speak, in good stead. But there's nothing to say that he doesn't deserve it. Like 58, averaging 58, strike rate of 101, absolutely fantastic. What it See, the bigger question is that when is Rohit's time? Like he
Hmm.
wants to play till 2027. Then what will Yashasvi do till 2027? He can't be just ferrying Gatorade till 2027, right? Especially in the ODI format. So I think that question today only there was some report that the selectors have asked Rohit to quickly tell us, boss, what is your scene after the Champions Trophy? And I have a feeling that 2025 Champions Trophy, if say India wins it, uh, there is a good chance Jadeja, Rohit, and Virat might just say, "Thanks, guys, been a good time," and say bye bye, just like the T20 World Cup. I think they are all chasing trophies which will enhance their legacy. So it's natural that uh, and the Champions Trophy is like a trophy. It's like the Carabao Cup in football. It's like if you win it, it's great. If you don't win it, then nobody cares. So it's like that. So if you ask a
So I think
Pakistan fan, he'll tell you 2017 Champions Trophy, the greatest of all time, because these kids have never seen Imran in their life, right? But if you ask somebody from India, they'll be like, "Arey nahi yaar, Bumrah, if he had not bowled that no ball, na, we only would have." So
yeah,
stuff like yeah,
yeah, I do agree. I think compared to World Cup or a T20 World Cup, we don't. Most of the viewers or the real cricket fans would take
yeah,
a PGT more seriously than Champions Trophy. Uh,
exactly.
yeah, but yeah, I mean, I see it the perspective could be that if India wins this one, maybe Rohit and Kohli and Jadeja could end on a high. If India doesn't do well or say struggles to reach the finals or anything, then also there might be a something else, a different angle coming into the picture that selectors might ask, okay, I think you guys are done. Let's build a team for
See, the thing
2027.
is,
That
see, the thing
possible.
is, India winning the Champions Trophy might have a larger knock-on effect on the existence of ODI cricket altogether as well.
Hmm.
Because if this is a win, then it motivates them to, let's say, that okay, the 2027 World Cup also could be ours, and we can chase one more silverware, because that's what is happening, right, in world cricket today. So I think India winning has a very, very huge knock-on effect for the existence of ODI cricket
Hmm.
with this Champions Trophy. The one thing I thought I wanted to discuss very briefly is that England seem to have followed this from the 2015 World Cup, where after the 2015 World Cup, they set their eyes on the 2019 World Cup and went and won. they went to the final of the no, they went to the semi-final of the 2021 T20 World Cup and won the 2022 World Cup in Australia. Now it seems like from the last year and a half, their focus is on the Ashes, which is at the end of the year. Do you think that completely derails everything that they do and they don't take these ODIs seriously? I mean, ODIs or for what it's worth, the T20s as well. I mean, because you see quotes from the Englishmen that they're not taking this seriously. It's actually disheartening for the fans.
Yeah. No,
I think
I agree. I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, the obsession with Ashes is just irritating, to be frank. And during the Ashes here, they just talk about that, irrespective of how the other teams play, or they just bother about that. It's unfortunate because I'm to be really frank. When I saw the team sheet, I'm very excited to see Root play. Right? I mean, I think
yeah.
he's one of the best players to have played, and I'm happy that I think Josh Butler made a comment that he's someone who should be considered for all three formats. So I'm
Yeah,
happy that England is looking at back. I think coming in number three, and they have a really good team, like Brook, Livingston, and then Bethel is also in the squad. So it's a very exciting squad with Butler at six. I don't know why it's not hyped enough for them. And with Jofra Archer back as well, I think they're one of the good contenders for the Champions Trophy also.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
unfortunate.
Even
Yes,
I thought so.
it's unfortunate that the Ashes discussion is, and with Ben Stokes not playing, I guess they have that aura around him, right? And he's like apparently like the main, like Jesus of English cricket, right? So if he's not there, then they think nothing is there. So unfortunate, but I think it's a really good squad, and I hope there are more eyeballs for the England white ball cricket as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
England
was
is a
just looking at their. No, no, go ahead.
yeah, please, Miraj.
No, no, I was just looking at their squad again. Adil Rashid bats at 10. Uh,
Hmm.
I mean, even in the ODI scheme of things, but it does seem that the template that and Jared had a very good video today where he said that the whole baseball started in tests for England, and now it is obviously baseball in ODIs and T20s as well with McCullum. But uh, but this essentially also has roots in the 2015 World Cup where New Zealand had played the McCullum way, and it just seems strange. It's a circle because India is also playing the baseball way, net. I mean, in many aspects as well. So should be interesting. But I just wish they treated internationals a little more seriously. I mean, anybody who's spoken to me knows that I call these series generally meaningless bilaterals unless like there is something attached to it. But it does look like that uh, cricketers need to put more on the line for these meaningless bilaterals as well for these formats to survive in the way. Considering there's just so much other cricket that I could watch, like I mean, if I switch on the TV now, I could watch the ILT20, I could watch the SAT20, and probably another couple of games on Fan Code or even the Indian State Premier League for that matter, which is tennis. Love it. So,
BPL.
so yeah, I mean anything for that matter, except the BPL. So I think, so I think it would be interesting if international teams take these meaningless games also a little more seriously because it did feel that England didn't take this seriously and despite this being their best squad, I mean at this point in time this is their T20 squad that's going to play the World Cup next year, and if this is the case then seems a little difficult if you don't turn up.
I think England is an interesting case study for me since the last 15, 20 years or so. Uh, there has been this trend, whenever they are not doing well in any particular format, that format becomes sort of irrelevant for them. And once it becomes irrelevant for English cricket, that means it is irrelevant in general. At least that's what they portray in their media and their fans and everything, right?
Yeah.
So after that 2023 World Cup, where initially they were like one of the contenders, to be very fair, but the way they performed in that World Cup and post that, I think they've been this all that hype. Okay, Test cricket is the real cricket. We should not be too much worried about the ODIs and the T20s. The moment they win something substantial like they did in 2019, then ODI cricket will become the pinnacle again for them. So I think that's the way they have been behaving for the last, I don't know,
Yeah,
n number of years. That's always been the case with them.
yeah.
And I think talking about the Ashes, not trying to get too much ahead of myself here, but I think Australia is going to hammer them left, right, and center for sure.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like England looked really good when they took everything seriously, But then Australia is such a sporting country at large that they don't take anything seriously and win everything. That it
Yeah.
just
Talking
it
about
is
Australia,
like
Pat Cummins is not there this time, so
Yeah.
I think other teams probably can
yeah.
Have they
sort of
announced the captain? Is Smith captaining, or I don't know what? I
one of
forgot.
these two guys, no? Smith or Head. I think mostly it's gonna be Smith only.
Oh, Smith or Head. Okay, got it.
So I think
Well,
Hazelwood is also not gonna be there. So I think their bowling definitely will look depleted without those two. Uh, but yeah, still you cannot rule the Aussies out.
yeah, never.
Yeah.
Well, good,
I'm
good. I
worried
think.
about India, man. Let's hope that Rohit Sharma gets that 2023 match back.
Yeah, I think he has a point to prove, and this is one format he likes. So I am really
Yeah.
excited for. No, I'm excited for the ODI series also. I mean, any last predictions? I mean, the 3-match series, so not much in terms of prediction. But what do you guys think? Who'll win the series? Miraj,
I think England are still in experimentation mode, so India wins it very easily. They'll be out with those quotes that we are still trying to figure. We want to learn a new way of life or something. I mean, it's straight out of an Osho. It's like they go open an Osho notebook and pick some quote, repurpose it for cricket, and then all the England fans go wild. There is 3 Guardian columns, 2 independent columns, and like 1 million
guess
Indian fans telling guys this is just stupid.
I think more for me more than the result of the game. I think it's gonna be the performance of the likes of say Varun
Yeah, that's
Chakravarthy.
what England say. That's what England say.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Yeah,
So I think as an Indian fan, to be honest, I'm really looking forward to it because Champions Trophy is not too far away. These 3 games are
yeah,
really gonna at least settle the team combination for the tournament. So yeah, let's hope that Rohit and Kohli, both of them, sort of find some form in this tournament.
same. I'm looking forward to just for Rohit and Kohli again. Yeah, great,
I'm
great. Thank
I'm
you,
looking
thank you.
forward
Ah,
to Shreyas Iyer performing for the 4 Shreyas Iyer fans on Twitter who
hey,
keep
poor guy.
posting on a daily basis
Hey,
that
he had a
the
great World Cup.
semi-final innings is not talked about enough.
No, I think he had a great World Cup, and I'm actually looking forward to him. And what is reasonably not bad Ranji performance as well. No, one or
Yeah,
two
yeah,
centuries also. Yeah,
fairly
yeah,
decent.
yeah.
But he'll
Looking forward.
fail when it matters the most.
Hopefully not, man. Yeah, and I like
The
him. Let's see.
man scored a 70 ball 105 in the World Cup semi-finals. So
But
the sample size for clutch games is very small for him as
Kohli
well.
didn't Kohli score? Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. See you guys.
Cool one.
Let's catch up once the series is over then, and let's discuss again. But yeah, great having you, Miraj, and great having you, Shivam, as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Raj. Thank you,
You,
guys. Cheers.
Thank you.
you.
Bye. Bye.